All right. Hey everyone, it's me again, Generic Pie here. Don't know why I've stolen Matthew McConaughey's catchphrase as my intro, but you gotta have some kind of annoying intro as a YouTuber, so I'm gonna go with that. So, after my last video, my craziest game of all time, I was kind of stuck trying to think about what I can bring to the table. That game was just so epic and over the top and had everything mad about, showed off everything mad about this game and how fantastically dramatic it can be. All sorts of free people shenanigans and military antics and comebacks, minions dying, companions dying, crazy tile draws. It was kind of just like almost a compilation of dramatic things that can happen in Lord of the Ring. So I was thinking, like, what other games have I got that I could even remotely compare to that? And nothing came close. I've had a bunch of like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, good games, fun games, interesting games, but nothing that really jumped out at me. However, one game did spring to mind, and this was a game I played against McDad about 4 or 5 months ago. And it's basically the opposite. Everything that's entertaining about this game is what wasn't entertaining about the last game. It's absurd, it's stupid, it's all RNG, it's the Java gods just pissing in our faces, laughing at us, and just being silly, really. So it's much shorter, thankfully, and there's not a whole lot of like cleverness, there's not a lot of great card play. There's basically no interesting combat in this game, but it's a real curio. It's a real unique game. Never played a game anything like it. And for that reason alone, I think it's worth preserving and sharing, because of the sheer absurdity of it. I think I'm going to name this file like my most absurd game of Lord of the Ring. So as I said before, I played against McDad. This game's against McDad about 4 or 5 months ago. McDad's a great guy. I've played him a bunch of times. Really, really fun to play games against. I kind of coined this term, the McDadening, because he loves to do mad shit with the Free Peoples. He loves to get Gandalf the Grey out of the Fellowship and use him as a captain of the West in places like Lorien, and just generally, like, it doesn't usually work in my experience, but when it does work, like, it's very effective and very annoying to play against. So he's he likes, like, he's quite a creative player, doing kind of innovative, fun stuff with the Free People. But anyway, this game he wasn't playing as a Free People. I was playing as a Free People. So let's get to it. We'll jump into the game. So yeah, I don't actually remember the passwords for this game because it was so long ago, and I don't think it actually matters because, as I said, this game isn't really about card play. And I think not seeing the cards actually will make it more entertaining. It's not going to be a very long video, and it will create a bit of suspense and surprise when what happens. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, so let's get to it. So he rolls a lot of eyes, and I roll this roll. So a really great starting roll for the Free People. And against that many eyes, there's, you have options. Let's just say that much as a Free People. So let's see what I do. And yeah. So I decide to separate Strider and a Hobbit. Maybe I have Fear Five Foes or Book of Mizarble or something like that. Or maybe I'm hoping I'll draw into them later. So hence I send the Hobbit. So he moves Isengard down. I'm probably going to skip through some of the less relevant parts of this game because some of it's just not really of any note. So Strider goes down. Standard army moves. I use a ring to get Strider into Dol Amroth. He used the ring back at me to get Saruman, and I crown Aragorn, and that's the end of the turn. So, pretty standard Aragorn crowning turn. He has a much better roll, lots of Palantirs though, and I have another really, really nice roll, really heavy on characters and wills. Move the Fellowship, he misses. He moves some armies around, gets the Southrons in position. I play the Grey Company. Maybe that's part of the reason I crowned Aragorn, because it's such a great early card to have in this situation. Get 2 strategy cards, or 3. Oh no, two strategy cards. He plays Nazgul Strike, then decides not to, and instead gets the Southrons down. I move and I get hit. I get hit for a 1. So I decide not to kill Gandalf because now that I've got rid of Aragorn, I kind of need to preserve as much of the Fellowship as possible. And yeah, there's no need to kill him, rush to kill him now. And he draws a card, moves the Southrons to war. I think I'm at this point, because he's rushed the Southrons down to war, I was concerned about Corsairs. So I decide I need to evacuate Aragorn. I get him to Lossarnach. And I start marching Merry over to somewhere. I don't know where because I can't see the cards. And he brings in... what happens there? Oh yeah, so yeah, I flip Gondor. He draws a card. Elven Rope. And then he actually does use Nazgul Strike. Okay. So now we're on to turn 3. So I'm on 2 movements. So I barely moved the Fellowship at all by turn 3. And he gets this roll, an absolute ton of character dice, and I get 3 Cs. So I'm guessing I'm going to move the Fellowship a bit this turn. So yes, I do. And he misses. He moves armies. I play Wisdom of Elrond to try to presumably get Gondor down so that when he attacks Osgiliath, I can use my final muster dice to get an extra elite in there, which I think is a good play. He gets Sauron down. I don't know what he's doing here, moving Nazgul around again because he's got so many character dice. Move the Fellowship again, and it's another miss. Moves some stuff around. He plays Shadows Gather. Okay. Don't really get that move when he's already got a 9 army in next to Morannon, but anyway, whatever. He attacks Osgiliath. I use Scouts, go down to Pelargir. And I muster up in Minas Tirith. And I move the Fellowship again, and he misses again. So that's 3 movements. 4 out of 5 movements have been safe. Admittedly, against not many eyes, but still pretty crazy. Not a single hit at all, except for that 1-1 earlier on. And now we go into turn 4. So far, I admit this hasn't been the craziest game, but it's coming. It's coming. Right, turn 4. Again, he rolls 1 eye and gets this weird roll of just Palantirs and army dice. And I roll another juicy roll full of C's and W's. Let's have a look at the dice at this point. So I'm +5 on movement. He's plus... okay, so he's pretty... I mean, low on musters, that's not great, but nothing too crazy otherwise. Starts moving armies around, plays New Powers Rising, and here we go. I'm in Fellowship. I miss. He draws a character card. I'm in Fellowship. I miss. He plays Ormazor and Tall. I move the Fellowship. A miss. There's a bit of a theme here. He attacks Pelargir. He kills a guy. I move the Fellowship. Miss. So now 4 moves against 1 eye, but 4 moves. He just had to roll a 2 that time. No, wait. Would that have been a... No, that would have been a... He needs to roll a 3. Still, pretty wild. And now I'm 1 step away from Mordor. On turn 4, having not moved once in the first turn because I got Aragorn. So this is really silly stuff. We have another battle in Pelargir. No, so he attacks Lamadon. And I understandably use a ring to use my final die to get into Mordor. Let's see what happens. And he rolls a 1. That's just so stupid. So 5 movements. I'm getting into Mordor on turn 4, having not moved once in a single turn. Just 1 tile draw, no reveals, Fellowship still in Rivendell. What are you meant to do? A Shadow, what are you, what are you meant to do in that situation? It's just the game is just laughing at you. So, I mean, that's basically a good game, right? You know, what could possibly happen now? I've got net -9 corruption. The pool is humongous. The only tile that will be added is a blue tile, so he's not even got red tiles. He's got no chance of military because he's only got 1 stronghold under siege. I've also got 6 dice because of Aragorn. The elves and the Jew line is untouched. Rohan's untouched. Just a joke of a game. Anyway. So, we go into turn 5. I do my like joyful little march all the way to Mordor. Hobbits just tickling orcs and, you know, picking flowers and skipping their way down to Mordor. So yeah, so understandably here he decides to go heavy on the eyes. I mean, what other chances he got, right? I mean, it's a hell of a long shot. You might as well, right? And he rolls his pitiful 3 dice. And I roll this roll. So again, you know, still getting. Actually, I'm not on 6 dice. I mentioned that earlier. I'm still on 5 dice. I haven't got Gandalf. Anyway, so even despite that, only having 5 dice, I'm still just rolling endless character dice and wills. And I'm also getting good tiles, good card draws. Sorry, to get another tile in there. I move, and I even get a nice tile draw. I get the 0 reveal. Perfect. Best other than a blue tile, best I could have got. But then things start to change, and he plays Breaking the Fellowship, and he draws a 3, the best possible tile draw he could get. And suddenly, I lose 3 of my companions. Looking back, I'm not sure why I went for the 3 captains. I don't know why I didn't just take a Hobbit. I'm guessing I was thinking it's nice to have the Hobbit's ability. So if, for example, at some point I was rolling against, let's say, 5, 6, 7 eyes, if I lose Gandalf and then all I've got left is Gimli, I can only take 3 damage from by killing Gandalf. Whereas if I have a Hobbit, I can take 4. So it's kind of a muchness in retrospect. Probably better to preserve the extra point of corruption and kill the Hobbit instead. Or maybe it's because of Warm with Sorrow and Toil. I was thinking that because he won't get to discard a card because of the Hobbit. I don't know what exactly I was thinking, but anyway, that's what I did for whatever reason. I don't think I was worried. Like, I'm still on -3 corruption. I think if you're on net 2 corruption when you go into Mordor, you've got a very good chance of winning as 3 people. That's kind of the tipping point. I think 2 corruption, and I'm on step 1 with net -3. I'm in a good position. I hide. He does some stuff. I play a card. He does some more stuff. It's just not really relevant, to be honest. Protect Helm's Deep. And we go on to the next turn. Turn 6. So now he rolls 3 eyes. Oh, so he allocates 2 eyes and rolls 1 more, so he has 3. And I again get 3 movements, so I just keep rolling character dice. So I move the Fellowship, and I get a 2. So again, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Not a big deal, I just take the corruption. He plays Morgul Wound, which is illegal because I'm not revealed, so he takes that back. Instead, he plays the King is Revealed. I play There's Another Way to actually heal a point of corruption. I could have probably saved that for Gollum, but I guess I was worried about Warm with Sorrow and Toil, so I just wanted to use it to get, you know, a point of corruption saved. and we have a fight. I don't even know where this fight is. Don't really care, to be honest. Buff up in Dol Amroth. He puts in a red tile. Let's see how that pool's doing. So now he's got one red tile in there. Still two blue tiles. Humongous pool. I move again, and I draw another eye. And I draw an eye. No, that is that the second eye? First eye? Anyway, so that's quite a painful eye. It's 4 reveal. The question here is, do I kill Gandalf and the Hobbit, or do I take the corruption, bearing in mind I know he has Morgul Wound, and if I don't take the corruption, then he will use Morgul Wound on me immediately, using one of the Palantirs, and then do 2 extra damage rather than one extra corruption. So I can't be bothered to figure out the maths here. I think the play might be to eat the corruption, and I think that would save me at least 1 point of corruption. I don't know if I didn't do that. I went back down to 2 and end up on 4. So he gets full value for Morgul Wound, whereas he would have only got 1 value otherwise. So what would have I ended up on? I think I was on 2. So I would have been on 6. Yeah, I think maybe 1 point of corruption difference in the end, if you calculate it all out. But yeah, it's a slightly suboptimal play by me. He does some stuff, and then he plays another tile drawing card, Orc Patrol, and he gets another 3. So far we've had maximum value. He's got 6 points of corruption from breaking. He's got 3 from Orc Patrol. He's got maximum from Morgul Wound. And I've hit an eye for 4 reveal. So Mordor is starting to actually get a bit scary. So I went in with -9 corruption. I'm now on 6 corruption, down to Gollum, and I'm on step 3. So let's see what happens next. So we go into turn 7. Flip the Fellowship. He draws another character card, understandably. I move the Fellowship, and I hit another eye. This time for 3 corruption. So I've hit a 4R eye and a 3R eye. And now I'm getting close. I'm on 9. I'm within touching distance of losing the game to corruption, unbelievably. An 18-point corruption swing in the space of, what? 3 turns? 2.5 turns? Which is pretty wild when you think about it. 18 points of corruption swing. And I haven't even been that reckless, you know. I think I guess I could have been really slow and just like not moved and waited for him to basically roll less eyes, fewer eyes. But at the beginning, I had to move because I had so many guys in the Fellowship. So yeah, it's been, I don't know what else I could have really done, to be honest. It's only so conservative you can be. I hide, so now I'm right on the brink. Could use a ring to try and win it this turn, but looking at the hunt pool, it's too risky, because if I hit the hit one of these 2 eyes, I lose the game. So I don't want to risk that. And I think, yeah, 3, I think I'd survive the 3 by hiding with Gollum, but yeah, I want to make sure that I can win it. But then he plays Isildur's Bane, not what I want to see, and he gets a 1. So he's actually been like, when you actually think about it, it's quite amazing what he's done here. He's had 3. He's been dodging laser beams. Every time I've moved, I've hit an eye, but every time he's had a tile drawing card, he's drawn a 3. So everything in Mordor, I mean, I'm not going to say he's been lucky, really, because he's been incredibly unlucky. I did get a 0 and which was a great start, and a 2, so those 2 are fine. But still, pretty crazy to have 3 tile drawing cards, not hit an eye, and then get 2 eyes in between them. So now I'm looking really I'm genuinely getting quite scared, and I'm starting to feel a bit embarrassed, because when you go into Mordor on net -9 corruption, you just think you've won the game in turn, when you're in turn 5. It's just like, it's guaranteed. But apparently not. So I'm starting to get quite tetchy here. Luckily, I have Atalas, which heals 1 point. Takes me down to 9 again. He flips a mouth to do something. I guess he attacks the Lamroth. I use a ring to play the File of Galadriel, just to get an extra tile in there. So I've got 3 blue tiles in there, so the pool's looking alright for me. There's another battle somewhere. The Lamroth, who cares? He puts another red tile in there. And then he plays Candle of Corpses. So if he rolls 3 6s again, it's game over. But he rolls 1 6. So still above average, taking me up to 10 again and making it that much more likely that I'm going to lose if I hit a bad tile. So anyway, we go into turn 8. And I keep rolling these crazy rolls this game. It's just a bit absurd. So I flip the Fellowship. He draws another character card. And I'm guessing I drew into this turn maybe. Mithril Coat and Sting. Best possible card to have in this situation. I presume I drew into it, because otherwise it probably would have got killed by Warmisaur and Toil earlier. I might have had it for the turn prior to this, but probably would have played it before then. I don't know. But anyway, lucky draw. He plays Shelob. So let's again look at the pool now. So now the pool's a lot nastier. 2 more red tiles in there. And I move. And it's a red 3. Which wouldn't have killed me, but no, it would have. Yeah, I'd be 100% dead. So that Mithril saved me. I would have lost the game. I would have lost the game if I hadn't got Mithril there. Then I draw the 2, and the only reason I win is because of Gollum's hide ability. So that's how close it came. So just to sum up how crazy this game was, 5 movement without getting hit. Going into Mordor on -9 corruption. Then you look at the stats. I'm +8 on movement, which itself is absurd. Magdad is +8 on Palantirs, which is perfect for when you're trying to spam the you're trying to draw character cards and you're trying to spam the Fellowship with every nasty card under the sun. So I mean, look, he's been through over half the deck of character cards. And if we look at the discarded cards, let's see what he's had. So, Shadow character cards. So he's had Isildur's Bane, Give It To Us, Candles of Corpses, Morgul Wound, Orc Patrol, Breaking of the Fellowship. So, and then not to mention the red tiles as well. Give It To Us, Shelob's Lair, on they went. So I think apart from Nazgul's Strike, Cruel Weather, which is again like the best, card in the game, and Flocks of Crabane, every single other card that he's drawn has been like a mad attack the Fellowship card. He's got none of the kind of, completely unrelated military cards that he could have drawn. So that in itself is crazy. And then you get the crazy thing with the tile draws where he's dodging laser beams. And to get it down to a single point of corruption difference from me being on -9, I just think like in English football, I don't know if this is a thing in other countries, but like we have an expression like a game of 2 halves in football, when like, first 45 one team dominates and then second 45 is complete opposite. And this is just that. It's just first 4 turns, all 3 people, complete domination, joke of a game. Second 4 turns, almost everything goes against the 3 people. Not completely. Mithril Coat and Sting, There Is Another Way, Athelas. But all of those played their roles. If I hadn't drawn Athelas as well, if I hadn't got There Is Another Way, I would have lost this game. But yeah, just wild, weird, absurd, stupid. I guess the other reason we love this game, we love it for the epic stuff. And maybe we hate it for this stuff, but it certainly adds a bit of spice to the mixture. But yeah, thought it was worth sharing. Stupid game. I'm sure a lot of you can relate and have had maybe not quite this extreme, but we've all been in those situations in Mordor when the game's just cruel to you. But yeah, cheers everyone. Have a good one.